Hello Stampers! I'm having so much fun today using the Sending Cheer stamp set. I just had to use this gingerbread man along with I just made a plate using the stamps out of the Sending Cheer stamp set to go along with it. And I'm going to show you how to do that today. We're going to have so much fun. This is just a great technique for anything you want to put on the plate, like any kind of cookie, or you could stamp a cupcake so it looks like it's sitting on a plate, a teacup. You know, just keep your mind open to this design. I love putting stuff around the edge of it just to make it a little fancier. You know, this gingerbread man's just waiting for Santa to come along and eat him. So we're going to be making this card. And inside I just have the little gingerbread man sticking out in the corner, just peeking out. You may be surprised that this designer series paper I'm using today is from the Let's Go Fishing designer series packet. I bet you didn't expect that, did you? But it has some great golds and greens. I thought I'd just make a cute tablecloth. And you could use any designer series paper that you want. You could make your own panel with checks or, you know, flowers or whatever to put your plate on. But that's what I used. DSP from the Let's Go Fishing designer series pack. So let's get going on our design today. I punched a few two of the bow punches, and I'm going to use these 3 out of that. And if you're not familiar with the bow punch, let me show you it. Here it is. And I have found this so handy. Instead of die cutting stuff, I just reach for this time and time again. Just have a little filler, little fluff on the front of my card. So that's what I use that for. And this is out of Mossy Meadow cardstock. Now you're going to find all the dimensions for this card down below this video. Just click show more and you'll see all the dimensions down there, along with the product links. That'll take you directly to my online store where you can shop with me 24/7. So we'll start with making our plate here. Now I need a 4-inch circle, and so I have a 4.5-inch square piece of basic white here, and I don't have a 4-inch punch or die cut, so I'm using a this is a 27-ounce can that I grabbed out of my cabinet, and we're going to be using that. And so just anything that you can come up with that's a 4-inch diameter. And I'm just going to trace around it at the bottom. So I have my circle. And this is going to be our plate. So I'm just going to take my paper snips and go around it and cut it out. I try to use as much of the the scissor blades as I can, and then turn my cardstock instead of making a lot of choppy motions, and that keeps it more rounded, and you don't get as many weird spots in your circle. I probably did a better job when I wasn't talking, but you can use the back side of this if you have marks still, like around your edges, like I did. I have a few little marks there. So I'm just going to use the back side. And that is my plate. And then I need a 2 3/8 inch circle punch. So I have that right here. And I took a double layer of Post-it notes and I punched it out so I have some of that sticky part on my top of my circle here. And that's going to hold it on for me. And as I was doing this, I was like, oh my gosh, I made an egg. So got a fried egg here. I'm going to take some Crumb Cake ink here. And a blending brush. And I'm going to blend around that Post-it note circle. You may have to hold it down a little bit. And what you want to do is you're just getting someone around the edge of that that circle there. You don't want to blend it all the way out to this edge. You just want some color in here so that when you lift this up, you can see that all the way around, just like that. Oh, I got a little pink. I don't know where that come from. Who knows? We'll just use that as the part that we cut off. See, there's always a workaround, right? So I'm just going to take some of this and I'm going to go around the edge here. And my mission here is to leave some white in between this and that. So I'm just going around the edge. Again, this is all Crumb Cake ink. And there we go. So there's that. So next I'm going to just take, I have the holly leaf and the berry stamp. I'm going to use the holly leaf first. And I'm going to stamp this on here, but I'm going to do it second generation. That means I'm going to load my stamp it on my scrap paper, and then stamp it on the edge of my plate. Now I'm going to turn this stamp different directions, making sure that I stamp off every time I load my stamp. And if I don't concentrate, boy, I will mess that up for sure. There we go. Make sure you do some of those upside down like this, because that is a good place to put your berries, is at the end of that. So I have some coming in, some turned around. I think one more here. Terrific. Okay, so we have that done. Now the berry stamp, this has 3 little berry dots. I'm going to do that same thing. I'm going to load it up, stamp it off, and then stamp it on my plate. And I'm trying not to get any in the inner circle. You can stamp some along the edge here. Just make sure you're stamping off. You don't want those too bright on there. And this is really just an etching on the side of the plate is what I'm going for. And I think I have it. Okay, so there are the berries. Now, I do want just a bit of color on the inside of my plate. So I just want it lightly. I'm taking my blending brush, and this is Crumb Cake still. And I'm doing a circular motion in the middle of the plate, leaving some white on that inner ring there. And there's our plate. So simple, right? And so this is just a fun design to use. This will go quick if you're making a bunch of these cards. So that is that. Okay, and now I think I just want to go ahead and I'm going to stamp my gingerbread man. And I'm going to stamp it in pecan pie. This gingerbread man's so cute. And there's not, a lot of coloring to them or anything, so just inking him up. And I'm just going to stamp him. Let's see, I want this, have that red mark. I want it kind of to the side. So I'm going to stamp him right here. And I'm trying to stamp him in the center of the plate. He just fits when you use that 2 3/8 circle punch. So there he is, super cute. And he has these stamps that go with him. And I'm going to use cherry cobbler ink for those. He has the 3 hearts that you can stamp over the hearts on his little belly there. I'm going to lean in and see if I can hit my mark. It's kind of hard working around this equipment, but there is that. And then we're going to put his little face on, and we're going to use the cherry cobbler for that too. You could use black or brown or whatever. I just wanted it really to stand out. He's such a happy little guy. Super cute. Okay. So there is that. And that was cherry cobbler ink. And now I just want to put a shadow around him a bit, so it looks like he is dimensional, that he's not just flat laying on the plate. So I'm going to take the chisel point of my dark pumpkin pie Stampin' Blend marker. I'm going to start here at his neck and kind of bring it up a little bit on the sides of his head, on each side there. And then I'm going to start at his armpit and kind of wrap halfway around his arm there. And we'll do it on the other side the same way. And then we will do start in the middle of his leg and go up to the center of his legs and then to the middle of the next leg. And that really gives him a lot of depth to where he looks like he's kind of sitting on the plate, but there's some thickness to him that he's casting a shadow. So how about that? There's our plate all done. So that part is done. And now I want to just do my sentiment piece. And I just have a piece of crumb cake here and a piece of real red. And I want my cherry cobbler ink. I'm going to stamp my sentiment. And I didn't want to have to worry about centering my sentiment on anything, so I'm just taking it and stamping it on the corner of my cardstock there. And this is the Merry Christmas, and it's out of the Regal Reindeer stamp set. Now you probably have a lot of Merry Christmases around, but I love the sentiment too that I'm going to put inside. So this is the Merry Christmas out of the Regal Reindeer, and then inside it'll say, wishing you a wonderful season filled with all the good things that warm your heart and lift your spirits. I just love that sentiment. So I'm using those two stamps out of this. And I will have a link to that also down below. So now I'm just going to take my paper sniffs. I'm just going to kind of center this and give it a trim. You can use your paper cutter for that if you'd like. Sometimes I just find it easier just to do it with my scissors. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect. And then I'm going to adhere it to a piece of real red. Using multi-purpose glue here. And I just want a tiny little bit of that framing this out. So I have that there, and then I'm just going to trim it out. Again, I'm just eyeballing this, but you could use your paper cutter and be exact. I'm not an exact type girl. So there we have those. We have our trim for the front. And now I just want to do the inside layer of my panel here. I'm going to stamp my sentiment on here. I always want to do that before I put my panel on the inside of my card. That way if I mess it up, you know what, I can just flip it over and do it again. So there is my sentiment. And now I'm going to stamp my little gingerbread guy in here so he's peeking in from the corner. And pecan pie is what I'm using. Let's see if we can get his little arms in there. There we go. I'm going to stamp his buttons and his little face, just like we did on the front with real red. There he is. And then, of course, we want to put a little shadow in like we did on the front. So he's just not just laying there. He's got some depth. So again, with the dark pecan pie Stampin' Blend marker, come along the side of his head, under his arm, And if you mess up like that, you know what? He's just got a bigger shadow there. It's not a big deal. There we go. There he is peeking in. Super cute. All right, now we're just ready to put it together. I have a 4 1/4 by 11-inch piece of real red cardstock. And when you fold it in half, you end up with your quarter card size, which is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. So it opens this way instead of, this way. So we have that. So I have 2 pieces of that Let's Go Fishing Designer Series paper. Now this is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. I went ahead and put one on the inside of my card here, and I'm going to center up my crumb cake panel here for the inside. And this is 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. So I'll just center that up in here. And there's our inside of the card. Isn't that cute? And then for the outside of our card, I just want a bit of that ribbon. And this is the gold and red polka dot ribbon. And you can be really stingy with this ribbon for this design. So I'm just going to take a piece of scissors and just cut a small piece of this off. This is probably like 3 inches. It doesn't fit all the way across our card there, and it doesn't have to. We're going to take mini glue dots here, and I'm going to glue dot this ribbon on my card here, and then we're going to wrap it around to the back side. I have glue on my sheet there. There we go. I'm going to wrap it around, and I'm going to glue dot it on this side. I probably didn't even need the amount of ribbon that I have on there, because you're only going to see a little bit of this when you put your plate on. I'm just going to add that there. I'm just tacking it down with one glue dot on the back. And there's our piece of ribbon. And now we can stick this on our panel. Let's add some love in there. This is going to go on the front. And you're going to only see a little bit of that real red when you put these panels on around the edge. There we go. And we only need that little bit. I mean, there's no sense in using a whole bunch of ribbon to go clear across the front of the card, because you're only going to see about this much of it when you put your plate on. So here's my plate, and I'm going to tilt this a little bit, and I'm going to put this on with Stampin' Dimensionals. Trying to see what part of this is going to get cut off. It's like this a little bit here. So I really don't need any dimensionals there. What did we do before we had dimensionals? I don't know. So I'm going to put my plate on. I got my little guy at an angle here. He's going to come off the plate just a little bit. I mean, he's going to come off the cardstock just a little bit. And I'm going to flip it over. And I'm just going to trim this flush with my card base. There we go. Okay, so next we have our little Merry Christmas we're going to put on here. And I'm not popping this up, I'm just gluing it on. I'm going to stick it under the plate a bit. It's okay if part of your sentiment is covered up, because people will know what it's saying. So I just wanted it to look like it was kind of tucked under there. Now I'm going to go ahead and put these on. I'm going to just use a little bit of glue on the bottom of this bow punch, and I'm going to angle it in Just remember, you don't want it sticking out further than what your card is wide, else you're going to have trouble with it getting in your envelope. I'm just using 2 of these. Again, sticking it under here. And then I have 1 of these little pieces here. You can put as much greener as you want. I just wanted to keep it kind of to a minimum. And there we go. Just so we have just a little bit of greenery there. And look, there is our front of our card. I think it's so cute. My ribbon is getting, there we go, put that on top so it's not messing with my ribbon. And there we have it. There's our card for today. It turned out super cute, right? So we don't always have to do elaborate scenes, but just so you know how to make this plate, it's a lot of fun. You can do a lot with it. Thanks for joining me today. Take care. Toodles.